behind the scenes, we have Karthik who's joining us, and of course, Ekta is here as well. Ekta is going to be introducing our guest speaker in just a little bit. Karthik, how's everything going? There is a whole lot happening behind the scenes.
Absolutely excited to be here. Never would have imagined such a stage and setting for one of the largest entrepreneurial events in the world amidst a pandemic. So kudos to all of you who made this happen. I think it's like the bright spot in an otherwise, I would say, bleak new normal as we call it. But looking forward to some interactions here. It's all good.
Right. I see we have two Kartiks who have joined us right now. This is amazing. All right, Ekta, I'll let you take over, please.
Thank you, Sriram. It's a pleasure to have Dr. Karthik Ramesh, who is the VP of Strategy, Transformation and Innovation with the EMIDS. He's actually straddled leadership roles across 14 geographies. That's a lot of different kind of people and cultures that he has worked with, understood, and imbibed, and figured out how to manage businesses with that. He also has the proud heritage, or if you may call it, of being the great grandson of Professor V. Lakshmi Narayan, who's one of the founding directors of BITS Pilani. Karthik, over to you.
Thank you so much. I am really very happy to be amidst this session here today because I often, amidst my profile of having worked in the IT services. Oh, sorry, was it for the other Karthik to introduce me, or should I continue?
Please continue, sir. Please.
Sure. Okay. So Karthik calling Karthik, right? So that was the problem here. So absolutely, I often look back at my career spanning almost 2 decades, multiple geographies across financial services, logistics, supply chain. But the best way I introduce myself, and here's a secret to all, if I can say failed entrepreneurs within quote, if you want to get a job, describe yourself as a failed entrepreneur because today the industry looks at it very, very respectfully. And I think it was around 10 years back when I had exactly 9.5 years of experience. I was based out of United States of America in New Jersey as the client partner for Dun& and Bradstreet, handling both the US and UK geographies. Pretty fast track career growth, God's grace, and thanks to all my mentors. But the point being, having been there, done it, I said, what if I remove my branding, if I remove my coat suit, and I just become a normal person and go and hit the roads myself as an entrepreneur? How's the world going to receive me? So I started what later I describe as, a personal failed entrepreneurship, but a great success in terms of a life lesson. And here's therefore my message to all of you who are currently entrepreneurs, who are also, in a sense, entrepreneurs within organizations, intrapreneurs, as we call it. Uh, Never give up, right? So today, 10 years later, after that experiment of running a digital marketing and analytics firm based out of both New Jersey, Middle East, and India, I returned to the corporate, and resumed next 10 years, no looking back, of course. But today, as I sit here in EMIDS, which is a leading IT services company for healthcare insurance payers, providers, state of art, cutting edge solutions, be it the analytics stacks, Industry 4.0, Healthcare 4.0, we at EMIDS are creating a culture of intrapreneurship. So what we do here in intrapreneurship is basically we put ourselves in a position where we wear the hat of an entrepreneur within an organization. So within EMIDS, apart from my responsibility of working with the chief revenue officer and helping drive the transformation agenda, I also manage or handle the mantle of going to create a culture of innovation and disruptive thinking amidst the employees, using state-of-art knowledge management portals. And we have innovation program, which we call as Trident. So it is basically 3I Dent. So the 3 I's which make a dent in our organization are ideate, innovate, and incubate. And this is again the mantra for most entrepreneurs. And picking a leaf from one of my most recent experiences before I joined EMIDS, I was lucky to be the head of Standard Chartered Bank's Open Banking, Open API Accelerator program, where we enabled several startups of all sizes, working with some of the smallest to some of the largest, most impactful accelerators around the globe. We were making a bank, which is, if I can compare to a mammoth or an elephant, literally dance to, if I can say, on the lighter side, rock music, you know. So one of the reasons I also switched from banking back to healthcare, and it was quite timely, while people thought I'm crazy to switch a job amidst COVID, it was more for the opportunity, of course. But I realized that fintechs and regtechs and today even insurtechs, the way they are challenging the likes of very, very large companies, including IT bellwethers, including services company, consulting companies. It is just amazing. It is astounding in terms of what is happening around us. So I think it is the most opportune moment for startups, and I would welcome, startups who are interested in working with us, experimenting with us, yeah, in a way MVPing or prototyping or design thinking with us some of the accelerated ideas and prototypes, product services which you have, especially when it comes to Industry 4.0, AI, ML, VR, AR, analytics, or even healthcare 4.0 technologies, then I would definitely request you to reach out to me at my personal email address, drkarthik@outlook.com, or you could reach out at ramesh@emails.com. So we would love to work with startups, nurture some of their products, do some pilots, and who knows, if there is synergy, we can always explore partnerships. We can look at ways in which we can embed this into our product tech stack, other things going well. But having said that, on a personal basis, as I said, because I've been primarily working in the services and consulting industry, helping startups bootstrap themselves across the world, uh, I would really encourage any of you who have, any aspiration, either in terms of getting mentored or, getting some advice in terms of how you can build the next disruptive product or service, please do reach out. Um, I guess I have a few more minutes. Can I continue, or how is it? Is that a Q&A? What does it look like from here?
No, you could continue if you have something to say. We don't have Q&As on this. People who would
Sure,
like to ask you questions will
sure.
reach out to
Okay,
you.
perfect. So absolutely, sure. So I would like to also share, as I was talking about this whole culture of entrepreneurship and never giving up. This is something which, especially I realized in the last role, which I played at Standard Chartered Bank, as the head of, we had a program which was called as Access or Open Banking, Open API. Very often, as you see, even when we start on this entrepreneurial journey, we get challenges both personal and professional in terms of people trying to disrupt our own thinking in a not so great positive way. In the bank, there were typically many challengers, both within and outside in terms of fintech ecosystem, where people really were wondering whether we could come up with solutions. So we have done the most crazy things, explore things right from drone banking, putting a drone within a branch to see how it can, interact with a customer, do some facial authentication based on AI ML, or deliver some of the forms to the customer when he's driving in. So we had a concept of a drive-in bank, right? Some of these things are totally away from mainstream business for a large multinational bank, but we were allowed to do it simply because we believed it and we proved the art of possible through prototyping and design thinking. The other example, which is very cliched in a sense today, you often see both on websites, bots, but we also engage in putting a physical robot into a branch. How would employee or how would the customer react when they actually walk into a branch? Or how would any of you watching this video actually react if you had to interact with an actual physical robot? Biggest challenge, I think, also in entrepreneurship, according to me, is to imbibe values, and valuation. So this is something which I'm trying to patent myself, my framework, which I would like to talk about very quickly. Any idea which you have, and it's this particular example of a robot in a bank, you look at it in terms of what is the value it is going to deliver to the customer, right? Is it going to increase your top line? Is it going to reduce the bottom line, the cost, operating cost? Is it on the softer side of values? Is it actually going to dislodge somebody's job? So value is as important as values of your company or the corporate culture which you're creating. How are employees going to see a robotic, non-human, emotionless piece of plastic, if I have to use a very crude language here, interacting with a very human, a very warm, and a very emotion-filled living being? So as we were experimenting with this in a very, very niche market in the Middle East, we also realized how would people, especially across age groups, react to this. Especially millennials and Gen Z are going to grab or latch onto these ideas. But what about people who are from the previous generation, right? Where even mobile phones and iPads are looked upon with disdain in terms of technology invading our lives. So the values aspect is not just the values of the culture, but values of what ethos your customers come from. And how is this combination of the value which your product or service is offering combined with the values and the ethos which you're trying to create with that offering? How is it going to improve or enhance your valuation, right? So I call this the V3 victory model, right? So value, values, valuation. And I found this has been very, very useful, either if you're implementing, an entrepreneurship program within a large corporate, or you're trying to be an entrepreneur of your own. Use this lens of V3, and I'm sure you will lead to victory. On that note, and respecting the time because I was given time for around 7, 8 minutes, I'm going to take a quick pause here and do a pulse check if I can continue or should I just wait.
No, we'll stop at that because we're in hard press for time and we have other speakers also waiting. But thank you so much, Karthik. You know, it was very insightful when you mentioned the 3 I's and the 3 V's of not just the value and valuation, but also values, and to understand the ethos of the customer, especially when you gave the example of a generational gap of, in terms of how even people can look at technology. Thank you so much. I'm sure that a lot of startups could have taken, a lot of insight and inspiration. They can go back and look at their own models and see how does the 3 I's and 3 V's fit into what they're looking at. So thank you so much, Karthik. It was